July 1861. On the issue of slavery, Thomas Jefferson acknowledged in 1820, "We have the wolf by the ears, and we can neither hold him nor safely let him go. Justice is in one scale and self-preservation in the other." In April, following the surrender of Fort Sumter, South Carolina, President Lincoln called for 75,000 U.S. militia to serve for 90 days. 1 month later, in May, Lincoln called for 42,000 three-year Army volunteers, 18,000 sailors, and expanded the regular Army by an additional 23,000 men. The South had already enrolled some 60,000 men into its armed forces by this time. Anticipating a short and glorious war, Southern boys rushed to join the colors before the fun was over. Black Americans established a long record of military service in the Army and Navy. They fought heroically for independence during the Revolutionary War and provided victories in the War of 1812. Nevertheless, white Americans did not want their help in the Civil War. The outbreak of the Civil War energized many blacks to volunteer to serve the Union Army to fight for freedom, equality, and social justice. Nicholas Biddle, a black man from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, marched through Baltimore with the Washington artillerists on April 18th on his way to help defend the Capitol in Washington, D.C. The people of Baltimore were outraged that Northern soldiers, with the black among them, should march through their streets. Shouts and jeers were soon followed by stones and bricks. Biddle, a special target, was hit full in the face by a stone. Blood spilling on his uniform, he stumbled but was helped by one of his officers. When his unit reached Washington, D.C. that night, it camped in the Capitol itself, and it was reported that President Lincoln came in person to thank the men for their help and especially to console Biddle, one of the first soldiers to shed his blood for the Union. On April 23rd, Jacob Dodson, a free black man, sent a note to the Secretary of War. "Sir, I desire to inform you that I know of some 300 of reliable colored free citizens of this city who desire to enter the service for the defense of the city." The Secretary of War replied to Dodson's note that this department has no intention at present to call into service of the government any colored soldiers. This was a white man's war. Everywhere they turned, African Americans in the North were confronted by similar remarks. Many black men were disappointed after being rejected by the Union Army. Debates took place within the black community over what, if any, they owed the government. Some felt that blacks had no logical reason to fight for a country that endorsed slavery. Others took the opposing point of view. They denounced the government's policies, but also organized, drilled, and stood ready to respond when called. During President Lincoln's first inaugural address, he stated that he had no purpose, directly or indirectly, to interfere with slavery in the states where it exists. As the Civil War raged on, both the North and the South asked the same recurring question of what to do with enslaved and free blacks. America's continued failure to realistically address the issues of slavery would forever alter the fabric of the nation.